What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is me, your host Scott from New Jersey here once again for the Beaty's Beat Watchalong, this time for Leicester hosting the Liverpool Reds. We're about to kick off actually pretty shortly. I'm a little late on the start time for the stream, just 2.5 minutes until kickoff it looks like. But welcome if this is your first time. I'm a lifelong Liverpool fan. Started the channel a little over a year ago, and I like to host some in-game conversation about anything that you want to talk about. So do not hesitate. Please do join me in the discussion. Let me know what your name is, where you're tuning in from, who you support, and whatever topic you'd like to discuss. This should be a good one. Liverpool is taking on Leicester for the second time in less than a week's span. I was checking out some stats before the game, and Liverpool should be pretty well favored for this one because we're in pretty good form. Leicester have taken 8 points from their last 8 matches in the Premier League. They've lost 3 of their last 5 in all competitions. Of course, one of them in the League Cup to us, thanks to Taki Minamino saving the day in stoppage time, the Carabao Cruyff. And Liverpool, without further ado, before the game kicks off, let's take a look at Liverpool's strengthened starting 11. You got Alisson in goal, of course. Costas, who I can't tell you the stat because I just forgot it. It might have been that he hasn't conceded a goal while on the pitch as a Liverpool player in the Premier League. You've got Virgil back from his COVID absence, Joel Matip, and of course, trusty Trent. Then your midfield trio is Hendo, Fabinho, thank goodness he's back, and Ox, who played very well against Leicester in the Carabao Cup. I'm told I didn't watch that match except for the last couple minutes of regulation and penalties. And then you've got Sadio Jota and Salah up top. So Liverpool fans definitely will be excited about that lineup. Pretty strong bench as well. You've only got Thiago and Taki not available for selection. And here we go. The camera is circling the pitch. You've got, I believe, Jamie Vardy, who's going to kick the match off. Leicester's lineup is looking pretty weakened as well, with no natural center backs. Jan Vestergaard is on the bench, so he was obviously not favored above 2 defensive midfielders, which is a bit surprising, although he's not the most mobile, so perhaps that went into Brendan Rodgers' thinking. I was just listening to the Redmen's pre-match coverage before this match, and they were saying just that Jan Vestergaard, who I personally was a big fan of in his Southampton days, I even thought that he might be Liverpool quality as a third or even fourth choice center back, but he's really fallen out of favor at Leicester. But anyway, back to the Redmen's opinion on that they were saying that signing Jan Vestergaard at Leicester is much like Brendan Rodgers signing Benteke at Liverpool. It never really looked like a good fit, and it's kind of a desperate move. I assume that it's really more so the Leicester sporting director, if there is one, or someone in that sort of similar type of role as opposed to Rodgers himself. But yeah, a little bit of an odd one. I think maybe they just signed him because he was undervalued. But in any case, let's talk about players on the pitch. Diogo Jota, the best header of the ball in the world. He's in great form. As Liverpool are in Leicester's third of the pitch, there's a bit of header ping pong going on, and Fabinho is able to bring it to the floor, but Leicester do win the ball back. Trent is in excellent form. It's a great time to be a Liverpool fan. It's always a good time to be a Liverpool fan, but particularly now, Liverpool in really good form. Some of our best players are at their absolute peak, including Trent, of course, Salah. Mane's actually performing really well, in my opinion, even though he's in a bit of a goal drought. But I wouldn't be surprised if he got on the score sheet today. Diogo Jota has been excellent. Here's a ball over the top by Leicester, and it looked like, okay, it was offside. Maybe that is why Iheanacho looked to be in so much space. It was a really nice curled effort over the top, a ball that's really become very popular in the Premier League. The last couple of years, this curled sort of through ball up and over. The Premier League is becoming more and more direct. I mean, whoever is at the top of the league, as always, is going to be the trendsetter in terms of tactics. But with Klopp and Guardiola really being the tastemakers. Oh, and Tsimikas plays a beautiful ball into the back post for his buddy Mo Salah. He heads it back to Jota at the top of the six because Salah felt he was just off balance enough and not central enough to have a crack at it himself. But that was a dangerous little move for Liverpool, as it kind of came to nothing in the end, but Leicester tried to break away, and Fabinho picks up a yellow card for... Oh, I'm sorry, that was Matip picks up a yellow card for breaking up play in a Fabinho-type position. As Leicester tried to break forward, I think that was a wise decision, rather than take our chances and see where the Leicester counterattack goes. Just pick up a foul and an early yellow, and hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt us with any sort of clumsy challenge later on in the match. I did have ideas of recalling my favorite Liverpool versus Leicester goals in recent memory. I think the one that first comes to mind is during Leicester's championship season in 2015-2016. That beautiful ball over the top, I believe it was by Schmeichel. It was just one bounce over the top, speaking of Route 1 football, and over the top, one bounce. Vardy just waited for it to come right into stride and volleyed it, beating Simon Mignolet, I believe it was, on that day, lobbing him with a powerful half volley. I was even going to put that one up on screen, and so that we could all enjoy it, but I am lacking in preparation. But we'll do that. We'll do that in some games coming up, perhaps for Chelsea versus Liverpool this Sunday 11:30. Definitely do not miss that one. That is going to be a very fun one, unless, well, I'm going to remain positive. We're going to have two guest co-hosts along with me. One one you will come to really enjoy. The first of which is Liverpool Lee, of course, as well as BG, who is a Chelsea fan. So we're going to welcome him with open arms and try to play nice, as I think that'll be our first stream where not only do we invite a non-Liverpool fan into our company, but the opposition on that day. So that one should be fun. It should be pretty intense. Chelsea have been having quite a great season up into the last couple of weeks, and then they'll bemoan some injuries. I think that they're just going through a rough patch, which I'm going to pat myself on the back and say I predicted that was pretty much right around the corner. And I do think that Chelsea are going to continue to fall off of the pace of Liverpool and City, but we shall see. Here's Mo Salah, who leaves it again to his buddy Tsimikas, who puts a cross in, and it is cleared by Leicester. Here's Trent, who plays a beautiful cross in, and it's a Marty. Oh, and Hendo! Hendo takes it first time straight out of the air as the half clearance falls right sweetly for his right foot, and he just takes a pop at it, and you really can't say that's mishit. The ball was at a pretty high height for him that he really needed to get over that, but alas, he blasted it. I don't think Kasper Schmeichel was too worried by that. He had a good eye on it, that it was always going over, but not by very far. I think that was probably maybe 2 yards over the crossbar. So that is Liverpool's first chance of the match. And Hendo. Here's Ox, who plays a tasty ball forward for Mo Salah right through the middle as Luke Thomas, I believe is his name, the young left back from playing for Leicester. I'm not sure where he's from, but also the Red Men at the Red Men TV. In case you hear me referencing them and you're not aware of who they are the best Liverpool fan channel there is, or the best of any fan channel. Great guys over there, born and bred in Liverpool, started on their couch just 10 years ago, and now they're on Sky Sports, featured on Sky Sports periodically. But here's Sadio, who plays the ball centrally towards Diogo Jota into the middle, but that gets cleared a bit, but Liverpool still in possession. Fabinho to Tsimikas. He plays it back to Virgil van Dijk. And here's Joel passing it over to the right-hand side. It's a hopeful ball from Trent towards the front corner of the 6-yard area. Oh, and Sadio picks the pocket. Oh, Sadio picked up the ball in very dangerous territory, deep in Leicester's area, as I'm not sure who that is. It looks like one of their defensive midfielders was trying to pass the ball squarely, but Sadio intercepted it and was darting straight towards goal. There wasn't too much of a super clear path, but he was looking for one, and Liverpool won a corner, and it goes nowhere as Matip can't do much with that. Goes behind for a Leicester goal kick. I teased this match as the meeting of the two most attractive keepers in either the league or the world. Let's call it the world. I'm fine making that claim. Alisson and Kasper Schmeichel. So we'll see how active each of them are. I don't even think Alisson has touched the ball yet in this match. I'd be interested to get into a conversation with any of you listeners on Brendan Rodgers' spell at Leicester in its current, at this moment right here and now. Is this a breaking point at which Brendan Rodgers seems to hit at just about every club, including Liverpool, where he works his magic, does some really great things, and then he just runs out of steam? I think that a lot of managers fall into that category. Well, not a lot of managers. I mean, I do think that he is a really impressive guy. I think loads of teams around the world would love to have him, but I think he just falls below that tier of elite managers. And I think it's really a shame, because I think he ran out of time at Liverpool, and of course no Liverpool fan is going to really lament his sacking, because it brought us Jurgen Klopp, and everybody knows how that has been going. But I was a big Rodgers fan, and I think that I even had to ask myself how much of a homer I was being for him. But anyway, I think if he was running out of steam. Oh, and here's Tsimikas going down the left-hand side. He plays it to the middle. There's a cluster in the box. Sadio and Mo were both going for it. It was Sadio who was getting the ball and trying to orient himself and set himself up for a clear shot, but there were just too many blue shirts in the middle there. Oh, and it's Salah who's got the ball in the box. That's got to be a penalty. Yes, Michael Oliver gives it as Salah is brought down right on the corner of the 6-yard area. Liverpool are going to have a penalty kick coming up right here. He brings the ball down, and it is Ndidi who is just scampering to halt Salah's progress as he gets closer and closer to Kasper Schmeichel. I don't think anyone can be too miffed about that. Yep, Salah wins the penalty, and he will take the penalty. So here we are. Kasper is off his line to intimidate a bit. He slowly backpedals to his goal line. And we shall see. Salah is standing straight back, hands on his hips here, as he will do his circular runabout. Here he is. Salah! And it's saved by Kasper. Oh my goodness. It's saved. The ball bounces, and it's just looping down at a nice enough height where Salah was able to, you would think, able to head the ball home into the other side of the goal where Kasper was obviously on the ground, but I believe that hit the crossbar. I'll have to see again. Now here, Leicester is in Liverpool's penalty area. It was Vardy who was not able to quite collect the ball on Liverpool's 18-yard area, but there is a collector's item as Mo Salah misses a penalty. Here it is. Here's the replay. It's kind of central. Oh, goodness. It is just as I was explaining. Salah is there to be able to head the ball, but it was just about an inch too high for him, and it hits the crossbar. He even got a second rebound chance as he was 5 yards from goal. Everyone was closing in on him, and if he just made better contact, it might have been third time's the charm on that right peg, but the opening goal for Liverpool is going to need to wait, unfortunately. Unbelievable, though. Credit to NBC for backing Mo up, giving him the benefit of the doubt for missing that penalty, as he has 15 goals so far this season and 9 assists, which is most in both categories. So Mo Salah, just the best player in the world, and we love him even if he misses the opening goal of the game. It'll come. Here's Trent on the ball. He's able to ensure that Leicester don't clear it from their defensive area. Almost like, I was going to say hockey play, but I'll stick to football since I'm not a hockey enthusiast. But I know there's something about keeping the puck in the opponent's area so you don't have to clear out. Here's Salah, who is looking extremely eager to right his wrongs as he wins the ball from Leicester and drops it back to Fabinho. But Leicester take over in possession as they are looking for that out ball to Vardy. Vardy is trying to move laterally across the top of the box on his left foot, but he can't find a teammate and did not have the window to strike on his left foot. I was surprised to view the Premier League table this morning and find that Liverpool were, let's see, now I'm forgetting. Anyway, I thought we were a point back from City, but I had forgotten that I think if we win this match, we will be 3 points back from City due to the draw that we were held to at Spurs. Yeah, that's right. So we're on 42 points currently with the match tied. And we'll be brought up to 44, which would make it 5 wins in a row for Liverpool in the Premier League. That would be nice. As Google shows, that's basically the form, the extent of the form table. So that would be nice to see 5 green check marks, as City have. City are on quite the run, and City just sold Ferran Torres today to Barcelona. In my memory, I thought he was going back to Barcelona, but as it turns out, he had only ever played for, or he was bought from Valencia, I should say. So that's a little bit surprising. I think he was brought in as a player with a whole lot of hype, and he was possibly going to be the next world beater. Perhaps Pep doesn't, or I should say evidently Pep doesn't believe that to be the case. Otherwise, he wouldn't be selling him back to Spain, to Barcelona. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, one can't really quite tell what Barcelona's financial situation is currently. I mean, they just spent roughly £50 million on Ferran Torres. He tended to impress me when I saw him at City. And good for him if he wants to make the move. Who knows? Maybe he wants to move back home. I don't know if there was a homesickness factor or if he just wants some regular playing time. But I thought he was a very versatile and useful player for City. He played false 9. He played anywhere across the front 3, really. So a little bit surprised that City maybe gave up on him is too harsh, but City were willing to part ways with him, and I don't know. It gives me similar feelings towards when they sold Leroy Sané. I think that was more of uh, a fitting in type of thing with Leroy Sané, as well as he wanted to play more regularly. And perhaps an attitude. Oh, and it's almost an accident of a goal as Ox plays another curled effort in, this time towards the near post, airily looking for Fabinho. For Henderson, who, and Kasper Schmeichel does a really good job just keeping that out at his near post. It was one of those really dangerous ones where the ball's trajectory is both heading for the goal as well as for its intended target, which this time was Henderson, trying to flick the ball on. He ends up not even getting in touch, and then that makes it very difficult for the goalkeeper because you're waiting and anticipating for a redirecting touch, so you have to be on your toes for that, and then you almost have to react to a non-reaction with Henderson not getting in touch. But the ball, if Kasper wasn't, if he was half a second slower, I think that ball would have snuck in right by the near post. So well done by the Danish keeper. Liverpool with a free kick down the right-hand side. As Fabinho is brought down, this is going to be Trent territory, I believe, as Tsimikas hustles over, as Trent takes it quickly, but that is going to be pulled back. You know Trent loves to have his eyes on a swivel, head on a swivel, for any opportunity to play someone through quickly. But I suppose the ref was not willing to allow that one. Here is Trent, plays it in, doesn't beat the first man as Ox is going to track it down about 40 yards from goal now. He pings it back to the right-hand side looking for Trent, Mo, or Matip. It is Mo who collects it, drops it back to Trent, who plays a tantalizing ball towards the back post, which Kasper comes to collect. Let's take a look at some stats so far. I am interested in XG. Of course, you're going to have quite a high XG for Liverpool, obviously having a penalty chance. So this is saying that Liverpool have had an expected goals score of 1.13, which is quite significant because even if you have, for those that aren't data people, even if you have like a golden chance on, the edge of the area, that's really only going to be as high as maybe like a 0.7 or something like that. So even a penalty, I don't know, there's probably a standardized, there must be a standardized score for a penalty. I would guess it's probably in the 0.8 range. But to see Liverpool over 1.0 means that we're creating quite some chances. And in fact, it says we've created 3 chances, and Leicester have created 0.05 xG. Liverpool 59% possession, 8 shots. As the latest one is Hendo with another volley over the bar that is not worrying anybody. Sadio on the corner of the box as he plays it to the back post, and it's... Oh, Jota just takes half a second too long, and... Ooh, the offside flag does go up, but that was just hanging there right for Jota. I don't mean literally hanging, but more figuratively. That's a terrible call, as Jota was onside from Hendo's flick. But it's just when the ball falls to that guy at the back post, unmarked, and he just goes to tee himself up. I'm not sure if it really was quite applicable to take a first-time chance there. I think he did have to take at least a touch, and I think he took 2 touches and then tried to get his strike off. But by that point, Casper was out. Hockey goalie Silent saved it, and my voice is going up here because Vardy was bringing Virgil into a foot race, but Virgil is able to use his expertise and strength to body him off the ball and let Allison come get the loose ball at that point. And here's Tsimikas on the left-hand side. He's looking, of course, to cross the ball, but sees it's not on and plays it centrally to Fabinho. Now we're on the right-hand side, and here's Salah in Salah territory from the corner coming inside and tries to find Sadio. There's a whole mess right in the center part of the box. Trent has some ping-pong, plays it to the back post, and that one looked like it was going to find Sadio, but it instead finds a Leicester defender. Quite an entertaining scoreless draw so far in this match. And we shall see if the deadlock can be broken before the half-time whistle. And here's Jota in the penalty area. And Jota is adjudged to have been to have fouled the Leicester defender, and that's trash. That's just a Leicester player taking the opportunity. There's nothing in that at all. That is unfortunate. But Leicester have the ball with their goalkeeper, who sends it forward. And Leicester foul. In an aerial challenge, it was Matip and Iheanacho. Both players were down for a good 8 to 10 seconds, so the ref goes over to check on their well-being. Both players are okay. It was one of those where Iheanacho goes up and he kind of climbs Matip's back, and then he does a little bit of a barrel roll on Matip's back. So I think Iheanacho fell on his lower back. So that's why he was getting up a little gingerly as Mo puts Tsimikas through into a nice patch of grass. And Tsimikas, you heard me say it before, Liverpool player just needs to be half a second quicker, and we might have 3 or 4 more goals in this match. But Liverpool certainly on top here. As I mentioned before, Leicester have .05 XG. I'm surprised that they even have a shot registered. As well as I'm kind of surprised that the possession stats are even as close as they are, 59-41. I would even expect this to be like a 70-30 type of game. Here's Fabinho finds Trent. Oh, and a beautiful little first-time ball for Salah. Oh my goodness. Salah does find some space right in that deeper Salah territory. This time I'm talking about the corner of the 6, as Leicester defenders can't figure out how to clear the ball, and the ball just finds Salah, and you'd put your house on him scoring from there. But Kasper Schmeichel with making himself big, wearing black today, and he is certainly looking menacing and in fine form, as Leicester will take this corner from the right-hand side. It's going to be Trent, so we have an outswinger from the white boots. And there's Virgil, who goes to head the ball. He won his duel with his mark, but the attrition that was involved in winning the header caused him to not really know where he was too much, so he didn't get too much of a clean header on that attempt. Here's Tsimikas, who has not been shy today. He has really had an influence on the game, and I'm sure Liverpool fans on Twitter and in their homes are quite pleased with the Greek Scouser, as he self-identifies. Let's take a look at the subs bench. Let's see, this is not on the right match. Liverpool. The subs bench for Liverpool is Bobby Firmino, Kurt Jones, back from his eye injury and COVID, so we're happy to have him back available. James Milner, Naby Keita, Konate, Gomez, Nico, Owen Beck, and Queven Kelleher. And then out, I think I said this already, is Thiago's not even listed here, nor is what's his name, Taki. But the injuries and suspensions, the injuries are Origi, Harvey, Nat Phillips, and Adrian. Oh my goodness, that looked like a sure goal for Vardy. He was able to beat his man and just dart directly forward. He just got a step on Costas, but it is Joel Matip, and that is a goal-saving block by the Cameroonian fella, as Leicester will have a corner kick. Play to the back post. It's up in the air. Liverpool trying to clear here. And Virgil is able to barely control and get rid. He took a little bit of an off-balance touch, which that can always be worrisome watching those, because when he's off balance, another touch is needed, and then you have to lurch yourself to make sure that the ball barely does get clear, and sometimes you can concede penalties that way, but Liverpool able to get it away. And here's Hendo feeding Trent on the right-hand side. Trent plays a strange lofted ball backwards. Oh, and it's Matip going through, and that was almost the chance. I have the red men up above me with the sound off, but they are going absolutely nuts. I know that they are just waiting impatiently for the day that one of those Matip runs turns directly into a goal. That was quite an exciting little passage of play, as I think both teams can be pretty relieved that it is still scoreless. As I said, Liverpool have had more of the chances, but Leicester through Vardy did have quite a dangerous move just minutes ago. And some really good news coming from social media. Those words are not often uttered, but this good news comes in the form of Harvey Elliott self-reporting that he will be back to training very soon, and I think we might see him on the pitch in January, and that'll be really great to see him in midfield. His dynamism here is Mo Salah at the halfway line trying to break the... Oh, and it's Leicester. Vardy's got the ball down the right-hand side, and Tsimikas is beaten but able to put him off enough. Oh, Trent is at the back post, has to clear. Luckily, there was not an onrushing Leicester player there, as there should have been. My goodness, Mo Salah is dispossessed, and this whole left-hand side of the field, this is a counter attack because Liverpool were committing men forward, and Tsimikas is just a Tsimikas is a traffic cone as the ball is played around him, and then Liverpool defenders have to start getting pulled from their positions. But credit to Liverpool's defense, because when that does happen, that's when some really easy goals can occur. When you start pulling players from their positions, let me say position one more time. Positioning is really important. That you kind of have to jockey the space that you're vacating and blocking the passing or shooting lane that the attacker is pursuing, because that used to happen so much in the Rodgers days, where we would just have so many defensive issues with. It was mainly Lovren. That's why my disdain for Lovren was so much, as he would vacate his position so much and then really make our entire team look bad, because whoever his partner got then sucked out of his position, and then whoever he was marking then gets the ball, because then you have a 3v2 or whatever the case may be, and the attacker really has the leverage. But in any case, well done to Liverpool's back line today in maintaining the clean sheet. Trent pelts the ball to the left-hand side, right back to left back, as Tsimikas plays it to Mane, who goes to take on Chowdhury, who put in a pretty ugly-looking challenge. Luckily, he didn't make his studs didn't make contact with Mane's shin. I think if he did, that might have ended up looking like the Harry Kane challenge, and we all know what controversy that created. Oh God! And this half, I think, is going to close with a bit of a whimper for Liverpool. The momentum is just, I wouldn't even say shifting in Leicester's favor. It just does not seem as if Liverpool's luck is Liverpool have the luck for the last part of this half. Schmeichel boots the ball downfield, and Liverpool will have a throw-in. Fabinho on the ball. He plays it out to the left-hand side for Tsimikas. If you split the field down the middle lengthwise, like hot dog style, there was 2 players on the entire left side of the pitch, so you can understand why Liverpool are employing switches even more than usual, I would say, because Tsimikas really is gaining possession via these switches and really just having acres and acres of space to change the point of attack. Here is Tsimikas. He plays an attempted cross, which is deflected, goes way high up in the air, and it crosses over the byline and on top of the goal, so Schmeichel doesn't even have a chance to save it. Schmeichel picks the ball up and gives his team a chance to set up even more so, as Trent is coming over to this left-hand side to play an in-swinger as Tsimikas drops back. I guess Liverpool really want to make this one count. It's not always that the opposite side outside back comes over for the in-swinger. Here it is, plays it right perfectly at the top of the box. Oh, and it's Hendo's third half volley attempt of the match. And this one has the same result as the first two, sailing over. Not pathetically so, but again, it's just maybe a foot to half a foot high. And Hendo exhales as he is a bit disappointed in that effort. Sadio Mane gives chase down the left-hand side with the Leicester defender, who clears, and Liverpool have a throw-in with Jota. He plays it across to Hendo. Here's Trent on the ball. Some good pressure from the Leicester players, now forcing Liverpool all the way back to the midfield circle, now again back to the left-hand side. With Tsimikas, here is Ox, who has really not, I haven't said his name for a good 20 minutes. He gets the ball from the left-hand side. He plays it to the back post with Trent, and Trent very rarely misses his kick as far as not making very good clean contact there. He had plenty of space. It's not an easy one, so it's not the easiest of chances. But with that much space, you expect Trent to do something with it, whether play really nice shot on goal or a cross. And it falls. Oh, I thought that was the opener for Jota, as a sort of a ping pong situation in the Leicester box. Falls to Jota, and he just snatches at the chance. I thought he was able to square up to this more. This was a lot more of a instinctive sort of kung fu sort of volley on it. And he's only able to steer it wide, unfortunately. There's another goal kick by Schmeichel, and the ball appears to go out for a Liverpool throw-in, but Iheanacho is again on the ground. I think he is perhaps insinuating that he got cleared out. There's a good 6 players huddled around the ref as he checks on Iheanacho. Just by the way he's laying on the floor, I'm going to say that he is kind of clamoring for some sort of call here. It is the same thing once again, this time with Matip, as he jumps up. Matip doesn't do anything wrong. He's standing there, and Iheanacho just flings himself dangerously. And what does he expect? A little bit of drama to end the first half. I'm sure once this throw-in takes place, will be the halftime whistle. And there it is. The players head for the dressing room. Hopefully some goals in the second half, just from the neutral's perspective. But anyway, I'm going to take a halftime break. You do the same. Don't go anywhere except the bathroom, the fridge, whatever. and meet me back here in a good 10 to 15 minutes for the second half. we are back for the second half. It is Liverpool away to Leicester. In case you are just joining us, if that is the case, I thank you. Liverpool will start the second half with the ball. It looks like Hendo is at the center circle as the match will restart. The first half featured a missed penalty by the very reliable Mo Salah from the penalty spot, as well as there was a rebound or two that was also not able to be bundled over the line. Liverpool definitely had the majority of the possession and the chances in that first half. So we shall see if and who will break the deadlock here. I don't expect this one to be a 0-0 draw, but we shall see. Again, anybody that is joining us, please do let me know, as always, your name, where you're tuning in from, who you support, and absolutely anything that you would like to talk about. Very few topics are off limits, so fire away. But here it is, not even a minute gone in the second half, and it's Trent pinging the ball all the way to the other side with Tsimikas. Tsimikas was given quite a good first half rating, with his crosses being pointed out as being quite outstanding. It's really been... I'd like to see a map of impact players in that first half. I think the players that touch the ball the most are probably Trent and Tsimikas. I don't know what that tells you about the match, but it's really been them being our playmakers. I was going to say our center midfielders, but our playmakers. But yeah, there haven't been so many touches in the box for the front three. I seem to remember Sadio really trying to make something happen. Him winning the ball on his own and then trying to dribble at defenders, as Sadio plays a little flick ball through to Ox, who surges forward and tries to cross the ball in, but it's blocked. And here is a cross from the left-hand side. I'm not sure by whom, but it did not... Liverpool still in possession, but not due to the cross, as Salah drops it back to Matip. You've got 21 players inside the Leicester half. Mo Salah drops it to Hendo. Fabinho's on the ball, back to Hendo. And there's going to reload, and here we go back to the left-hand side. This is almost like a training session here. Pretty predictable, as Liverpool trying to find an angle to crack through and fashion a clear chance for ourselves. I think this goes to show that Brendan Rodgers... and Jota wins the ball off the Leicester defender at the left-hand side of the 6. And he tries to cross it. I wish he would have taken a crack at goal there. But he tries to be unselfish, and his pass does not find a Liverpool player. He bodied his Leicester counterpart off the ball and played it centrally, and then some sort of foul was given. I'm not sure what was penalized there, but here's Schmeichel going to boot the ball upfield, as he did many times in the first half. Anyone out there who's watching, please take a guess at what year this Liverpool home kit is from. I'll give you a hint. It was I think it was maybe the first year that I that I started supporting Liverpool. If that's any sort of hint. Actually, it's not. It's the second season. Liverpool had Mo Salah darting through the box, but he is dispossessed. Ooh, and interesting. I thought that was a foul by Trent as number 22, I think that's Castagne on Leicester, was a swing and a miss, and he fell right on his bottom, and the ball went out for a throw. And I thought it was a situation where Trent did a sweep of the feet, but I guess it was completely self-inflicted as Liverpool got the throw in, but the play has moved on since I described all that, and it's moved on again with Liverpool back in possession. Mo finds Jota, who is just past the halfway line, and he tries to ping the ball forward for Sadio Mane. Diogo Jota, not really known for his long through balls. And that one was a bit too ambitious as he kind of gifted possession back to Leicester. And he tries another one. The same sort of thing intended for Sadio Mane, and he just gives the ball right to Leicester. Somebody should scream at him a bit for that, since that obviously is not working. He's trying to force it too much. Ooh, as a nice 1-2 gets around Trent. Oh, and a really important sliding tackle to maneuver the ball just out of Vardy's path by Tsimikas. The ball was played on the ground, and if Tsimikas didn't get that intervention, then I think it would have fell right at the feet of Vardy at the back post, and that's only going to yield one result. So yeah, I mean, I think Vardy has been a threat to Liverpool, not even necessarily on the ball all the time, but really just the threat of his presence and his acceleration. Liverpool just piss away the possession again, just playing completely route one. That evades all on-field players and just goes straight to Schmeichel, as Liverpool need to just regain some composure, perhaps make a substitution or two. Here's the replay for that Tsimikas. Wow, really well done. He really got a touch on that just with his studs there. And even more credit too. More credit too that he didn't divert the ball on his own goal, and it really went out. It went out for a Leicester throw-in. Liverpool's upcoming fixtures on screen are at Chelsea versus Brentford and at Crystal Palace. So, an important group of games. I think really just momentum-wise, I don't think you can say those games are the most difficult or terribly easy. Chelsea obviously will be a tough test, but we'll want to pick up our first win of the season against Brentford, as well as Crystal Palace has been a good, if not tricky team this season, as Naby Keita is getting ready to come onto the pitch. He will be, Liverpool fans will hope that he is as impactful of a substitute as he was against Leicester in the Carabao Cup. I heard that he was very good then. Oh, and it's Jota who plays Sadio through, and Sadio puts it over the bar as he was in on goal. And he just had to pick a corner. Perhaps that's credit to Kasper Schmeichel making himself big all game. Oh, there's no reason to put that ball over the bar. Kasper Schmeichel does come out and makes himself big, but there's no real need to lift that ball that high. You kind of saw what he was doing. He was trying to kind of open his body and play it far post, but then whip it back, and he just needed to get a little lift to beat the keeper. Here's the change that I expected it would be. Keita on for Ox. Ox was playing in the deep-lying deep-lying playmaker on the left side of the pitch, as Tielemans comes on for Iheanacho. He's maybe Tielemans and Vardy. I was gonna say I'm not saying this because I don't want to jinx it, but I was gonna say Tielemans and Vardy are really the only two Leicester players that really scare me too much. Some might say Maddison as well, but I don't really feel like it's been his best season. And I think to start the season, he wanted to make his move to Arsenal. Ooh, a dangerous through ball attempted by Leicester for, I think that was Tielemans, but really expertly dealt with by Matip. He was able to just get his foot on the ball and really come away with it on the dribble. As we will introduce our man onto the field now, or we won't. Here is midfield playmaker Naby Keita. Where is he? Oh, here he is. He's doing his little dance here. And here he is on the ball, and he takes a strike, and I'm sorry, that is Sadio Mane. Always do that. It's so difficult to tell the difference between Keita and Mane from the broadcast view. Similar stature. Leicester down the left-hand side. Trent nowhere to be found. And, oh my goodness, it is 1-0 to Leicester. They take the lead, and it is Ademola Lookman who puts Leicester in front. You say against the run of play, and Leicester certainly haven't had the bulk of it, but I don't even think you can say against the run of play at this point, because it is 60 minutes into this match, and Leicester have had their chances, and Liverpool we've also had our chances, but we haven't taken them, and it's at this point in the game where you really can't be too upset. Well, you can be upset that Liverpool haven't taken their chances, but what I mean is you can't be too surprised that when you don't take your chances and the game is still tied, that Leicester get a little Lookman, and they seize it. So credit to them. It's 1-0, And this is not the type of result that Liverpool will want, especially heading into the Chelsea match. We're really going to need to see some fire from Liverpool, which you would certainly expect Klopp would have shown them during halftime, not because Liverpool haven't played well, but because we haven't seized our opportunities, and this is what happens in the Premier League. You have good teams, and if you sit around too long, you're going to get punished. So anyway, there are 30 minutes left. Liverpool need to find some sort of spark as Leicester are way pinned back. Sadio Mane tries to find some space, which he can't on the left-hand side as Leicester block, and it is out for a Liverpool throw. Here is Keita, who just got tackled by Tsimikas. They ran into each other, and Tsimikas came away with it, but he legitimately stole the ball off of his Liverpool teammate. Here's Trent, who passes to Sadio, and he has a rough touch on the edge of the box, and Leicester come away with it. Leicester have the ball now again, and they're going to play Lookman through down the left-hand side, and Matip has to retreat. He tries to slip, I think, Maddison in. He gets ushered away by Virgil, and it is no longer a counter-attack as Liverpool have enough men back, but they're going to want to win the ball back and get up the pitch as whoever that was, I think that was Castagne, just hit a completely off-balance cross way over the bar. I don't know who that was intended for, but it didn't look pretty. Alisson gets beat at his near post on that goal. I think that's a tough one because Lookman was coming down the left-hand side, probably just a little bit left of the 6-yard box laterally, and Virgil was trying to usher him by taking away the angle. So as a goalkeeper, you have a really tough, unless Virgil is tighter to Lookman, perhaps he should have been. Maybe that's the one criticism you could have. And I'd have to see the angle from Alisson as well, because typically you say, oh, keepers should never get beat at their near post. But what I was about to say on behalf of Alisson is when Virgil is trying to shepherd him and take away the far post angle, Lookman either has to go way wide. He essentially his purview is the far back post at a really tight angle, or sneaking in the near post, which of course is what he did. But when the center of the goal gets taken away as a goalkeeper, it's really difficult to say, oh, okay, I either need to defend this near post or go completely the other side of the goal. So I think Alisson maybe was typically the attacker goes for the far post. So anyway, but that's all in the past, and Liverpool need to get at least 2 goals to get the 3 points here. Liverpool will not, as Keita just clatters into Tielemans unnecessarily, and Leicester are going to have the ball and chew up some more clock as Fabinho is going to make way for this man. If I can pull him up. Give you a hint, he's boring, he's old. It is Jimmy Milner. I know that's not Jimmy Milner. I can't find him, but that is quite all right. I'm going to give up. So that's an interesting move. I think most Liverpool fans probably would have preferred to see young Curtis Jones, who has a bit more fire in him. But perhaps what we need is leadership. I mean, it's a very, I know it's a very difficult thing to say. It's just a very vague term. But honestly, I don't think that, not to pick on Hendo, but I don't think that leadership is really apparent in this Liverpool team today. I think we need to put in a bit of a more mature and more confident performance, which I think Millie can bring. Of course, he's vice captain, so hopefully he can bring that sort of intensity and maturity to the team, that confidence. As we come down the left-hand side with Tsimikas, he lays it off to Milner, who finds Hendo, who's playing a lot more centrally now, at least at the moment. He typically takes up the right center mid position, and Liverpool have kind of brought that back tactically. Is the left side and right sided players, because those center mids do tend to interact an awful lot with their backs. Oh, and it's Tsimikas who slipped through brilliantly by Matip, and he should have just taken a crack at it. He was in so much space, but he tries to be unselfish and play it towards the middle. And once again, Leicester is able to get some bodies in the way to scupper the cross and just take a shot. Here's Milner, who is on the ball, plays it to Trent. And I think Leicester, I don't like to applaud teams when they park the bus, which I think Leicester are pretty clearly doing. But what I will say is I think that Leicester have sufficiently marked out some of the danger men for Liverpool. I mean, where Trent was picking up the ball there really wasn't much that he could do with it. Pretty shallow and pretty narrow, so it wasn't particularly a space where Trent wanted to be picking up the ball, and he just kind of laid it off to basically to say, I don't want the ball here, sort of thing. So Leicester have been taking up some pretty effective spaces. As James Maddison sits on the floor, he calls for a substitute, and it's going to be Mark Albrighton who's getting his training top off as they chew up another 60 to 90 seconds. Liverpool will have a corner kick in about 20 seconds or so once this substitution is complete. Maddison, of course, has to roll down his socks and take his shin guards off and clap the fans to chew up as much clock as possible. Hopefully we'll have at least 5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this match. We haven't gotten into a winning position by then. I think if this were to be a situation where Liverpool do not pick up a victory, it will be, here's the corner, and it is cleared by Leicester, but Liverpool back in possession. Trent in the center back position pings it forward for Tsimikas, but Leicester win the aerial battle, have it with Vardy close to midfield. The trio of Milner, Hendo, and Keita, the entire midfield, snuff him out, and Keita comes away with the ball. It is Trent still in the center back position, plays it wide to Keita down the right hand side in the Trent position. He plays a nice ball in, but it is a diving header away by Leicester. It was Sadio Mane who was closest to that ball. As I was saying, I think if Liverpool don't come away with a victory, this will be a really tough one to swallow for Liverpool fans, because not only, really the only thing important, I think, in this whole situation is that Man City will be 6 points clear heading into this weekend of Liverpool between first and second place, and that's not a completely worrisome gap. But if it goes any more beyond that, I feel like 6 to 7 to 8 points is really starting to be okay, these guys can't be caught. But Listen, City are in red hot form. Liverpool have been in red hot form in certain spurts during this season. I don't think that this is some sort of unbelievable iteration of Pep's City team. I think that they're a great team, and I think that they certainly can continue to take advantage of the absence of a truly great team as a challenger. As this man is coming on, it is Bobby Firmino for Hendo. We like to see that. That means we're going to be going into a 4-2-3-1, an even more attacking formation. Come on, Bobby, let's show your stuff. Here we go. 20 minutes in regulation still to play. So yeah, certainly that gap would not be a good thing to give City a 6-point lead going into the new year. But another reason is I think that there's growing animosity between Liverpool and Leicester fans. There were some less than PG chants going on about sort of the class differential between Liverpool citizens and Leicester. Some politically charged chants, as well as some terrible falsehoods chanted about the Liverpool manager, which I won't even dignify with what they were about because it's nonsense. But anyway, I just think that will sting. And I think sting is a pretty tame word because we all know how Twitter can operate. I just think that will sting doubly so that if Liverpool come away from this visit south with a draw or a loss. So for all of the reasons above, let's get a Liverpool victory. Come on, we've got 18 minutes left. Both teams have made all three of their available substitutions. There are two Leicester players down on the floor, and it's Vardy. Vardy, that has to be a hamstring. Matip, I think, I'm pretty sure has a yellow card already, so there's a bit of drama going on with Leicester players. Looks like Matip had barely a hand on Vardy as he goes down. Actually, I wonder if Vardy actually is suffering from a hamstring, because that actually looked like more of a trip. Again, I don't think that there was any foul committed by Matip there, but if it is a trip situation, that's typically not how you would pull a hamstring. But we'll see once these players get up off the floor. Again, this time wasting is just further going to pour oil on the fire for Liverpool fans. Mo Salah, the cameraman, is honing in on. Of course, a lot of attention will be drawn towards Salah missing the penalty, where Liverpool could have been on its way to a comfortable victory. Klopp is basically, well, both teams really are taking advantage of this stoppage as a timeout. All 11 players are in a American football style huddle on the sideline as I take a swig of water and miss. This is unbelievable. You've got Vardy basically taking a nap at midfield with the trainer on the pitch. There's a football match to be played here. There must be at least 5 minutes added at this point. I think that's the low end of stoppage time that will be added at the end of the 90. Vardy is up and pretending to gingerly walk. I'm not sure if he is going to be okay, but this will be quite the interesting situation to monitor because Leicester are out of substitutions, as I just said, and that means Leicester would be playing with 10 men. Vardy is standing on the sideline, and he is going to re-enter the pitch. So all of that was brilliant acting by the Leicester forward. Just chewing up clock, and he is running pretty sprightly. Like, oh God, Trent is barking at the ref. I think fairly so, because he was adjudged to have fouled a Leicester player who I think went down very easily. He was trying to come away on a Leicester break, but Liverpool just not getting the luck currently. And I was just going to say, I think I saw Origi maybe heading up the steps. I guess maybe he was, he may have been warming up, and it just got my mind thinking perhaps this is a day for Divock Origi. But I have to remind myself that there are no more substitutions available for either team. So these are the men for either team that will make the difference, if there is a difference to be made, as Tsimikas is down the left-hand side. He scoops it forward for, I think, Jota. Now here's Keita. He plays it around the horn, Virgil to Matip, and then it's going to go... Oh, no, it doesn't go to Trent. He tries to find Bobby at the top of the D, but that's sort of a danger area. He tried to play it a bit against the grain, but it was a bit too forced. As Matip is back in possession, he plays it back to Alisson, who plays it forward to Keita. All Leicester players in their own half. Milner pings it out to Trent. Trent, just take it up the sideline. He tries to find Mo Salah instead, he just flicks it over looking for Sadio Mane. At first I thought this is the wrong ball. Then as it was falling, I go, oh, that is beautiful magic right there. And alas, it is a bit too ambitious, as it had a little bit too much gusto on it. It went out for a goal kick. And upon seeing the replay, Sadio Mane was actually offside as well. So any ensuing play would have been brought back. Leicester just looking to pick up fouls here. Lookman is brought down in midfield by Milner. Looking for it. He's got the ball in possession. He knows Milner's coming. He gets his body in the way, and then he goes to ground. Tielemans takes a short free kick. They have absolutely zero ambition. They go from 55 yards up the field, short ball back to their center backs, all the way back to their goalkeeper. At this point, it almost seems like they'd do the same thing if it was a corner kick. Milner in midfield. He has it. Liverpool really need to find some sharpness here, as it all just seems very repetitive. They need to take some risks, but at the same time, really the story of the game has been they've been taking the wrong risks. It's been very repetitive and swinging the ball from left to right. In the first half, it seemed somewhat fresh. Then you have right there, as we just saw, Matip trying to ping the ball right through the middle. And it's just very uninventive. As Leicester make a mistake there, try to play the ball to Tielemans, who looked like he was in possession. He slips, and then there's a big patch of grass that Liverpool players just need to be anticipatory with, and it's Oh, Mo Salah just slipped Sadio Mane through in the box, and at first look, it looked like Sadio would be through and take a shot on goal, but it is actually the Leicester defender who was able to toe poke the ball away. Sadio gets back in possession, gets fouled down the right-hand side of the field in a Trent-type position. It's Ndidi, who might have actually won the ball there. He kind of went through Sadio a bit, but it seems like he won the ball with his right foot and then again with his left. But I think a fair enough foul as both outside backs are over the ball. It's Trent that swings this one in, back post, and it falls to Salah. And another story of this game has been wayward volleys, and Salah tries to take it first time. Just these decisions made, and they're replaying the Sadio Mane chance, which I had since forgotten about, that really should have been capitalized. But I mean, not even should have. That's a must-have. So I'm going to retake a look at the XG for the match. Let's see, where do I find that? Expected goals for Liverpool, 1.8. Unbelievable to have a score that high and still have 0 goals on the true scoreboard. As here's Trent finding a bit of space. He tries to just rifle a ball in, playing an early cross. I think that was a little premature. He should have carried the ball further. This is what we need to see more of Trent on the ball, maybe attracting, not waiting too long, but attracting players towards him. Liverpool do win the corner here. It's the 82nd minute. Tsimikas comes across to this side to play the in-swinger. Come on, let's get ahead or something, anything on this. And into the goal on a Jota, the best header of the ball in the world. And he cannot direct it on goal. Let's see where, yep. He just was a little bit too late with his contact on that, as you could tell as he made contact with that header that he wasn't going to be able to get around the ball and get it on goal, so it drifts past the far post as Schmeichel is going to take another goal kick. Liverpool win the headers and are just about in possession. Salah almost slips Sadio Mane through, but it gets blocked. Mane was in a nice patch of grass, as it's Firmino also finding a bit of space, but Milner tries to play somebody through, and it is intercepted by I believe that's Lookman, who's at this point has got to be your man of the match. Every time he's on the ball or getting a touch on the ball, any sort of impact that he's making has been a good one if you're a Leicester fan. As now he takes the ball down the left side. Milner puts a challenge in on him, and that should be a Liverpool throw. Firmino karate kicks it out away as Liverpool are trying to get the ball up the field. Now it's Alisson at the top of the box, already applying pressure, but Alisson able to get away from danger. Liverpool know that they can they're able to settle the ball down in their own area, where in other matches you probably would have more pressure applied inside your own area, but they knew that Leicester are bolting back towards their own goal to repark the bus. As Leicester have the ball, you can tell they don't even really want it. Every time they get the ball, it goes back towards their center backs. they do their sort of impression of Liverpool swinging the ball from one side of the field to the other. That's really about all they can do and all they have done in possession. They really haven't had possession. Every time they've gotten it, they've just scampered forward. And then they're lucky if they get a chance in on goal. This is not... If you're watching this game as a Liverpool fan, you're probably thinking that it is not Liverpool's day, but I still believe, if you're a Liverpool fan, you always have to believe we're the cardiac kids. We can always launch a comeback. As here's Salah, who plays it towards the back post looking for Firmino, gets his own rebound from the defended cross. He is a man on a mission. He does not want to lay down. He knows that his name is going to be in the headlines for the wrong reasons. He wants to set that straight. And Salah just covered a good 40 yards full of sprints, almost cracked through and fashioned a chance for himself. But here is Liverpool going to get another corner. As I was saying, Liverpool can never say die. You have to believe we already came back once in the last 7 days against this same opponent. Here's Milner to the back post. Here's Virgil. Oh, Virgil has an effort on goal, left-footed, and it is a kick save by Kasper Schmeichel. It's going to be another corner kick for Liverpool, but that's what we need. See, that is a left-footed effort going away from goal by our center back from not a great angle, but that's okay. That's exactly what I want Virgil to do. The ref is coming over to the side of the pitch because Leicester is complaining that Trent's ball is outside the corner triangle. That is a ridiculous expenditure of the referee's time. Here's Milner going to have a throw-in on the right side. He takes it, and it is back in play with Keita. Swings it back to center back Costa Tsimikas. Now to left back Trent Alexander-Arnold. Center back Naby Keita is on the ball. Center midfielder Trent Alexander-Arnold plays it out to the right-hand side for Mo Salah, right winger. Oh, and he plays it through the Milner, and Milner wins a corner. I'm a bit happy that, well, I was almost going to say that I'm a bit happy. Oh no, Milner was way onside. I was going to say we can maybe consider ourselves lucky because I thought Milner might have been offside, and then had he scored, that certainly would have been taken back. More time off the clock, yada yada, but Liverpool win the corner. Milner was indeed onside. Tsimikas plays it in, and there's two Liverpool players battling each other. Mane is the one who got the touch, but it goes wide. No, he didn't. I thought it was more of a collision. The way that the camera angle was showing, it looked like Sadio and Jota had collided with each other, but they were really just in the same position. It would have been more advantageous for Liverpool for Jota to really get on the end of that one. 88 minutes gone. Gotta make something happen here. As I said, there really should be. I'll be curious to see how much time is added on. Speaking of added on time, here's a Leicester player that is claiming a head injury, and Virgil's elbow goes vaguely near this fella Castagne's neck. He is up. Liverpool in possession. It is Alisson. Plays it forward to Matip. Up to Virgil. Anything that results in a shot on goal is what we need. Here's Milner. To Trent. Matip going on a scampering run forward. You know he can beat a man with the ball at his feet. He does, and then lays it off to a teammate. He's back on the ball now. It's Keita. Ooh, Keita slithers through. Oh, and he almost got a shot away. There was a bit of pinball happening, and then Keita was in possession of the ball inside the 18-yard area as it's Jota similarly possibly finding a bit of space. It's a Marty who gets his body in the way. It's going to be another Liverpool corner. Perhaps might we see Alisson come forward for one of these. We need 2 goals in the last however many minutes to be added on here. It must be at least 5 minutes. Come on, ref. Have some sense. This must be Trent who's going to swing this one in towards the back post. I think that's going to be another corner for Tsimikas as the Leicester defense is just going to reload. Here's Milner who's setting the ball down. It's only 5 minutes that are going to be added at the end of this match. Here's Milner. Schmeichel gets fist to it. Here's Virgil who heads it back into the area. It's Trent who goes straight up, and that is BS, referee. You have to be vigilant with these fouls. You know every single time these wow, they were playing a complete highlight reel from Kasper Schmeichel. Yeah, I suppose you would say that he is going to be the man of the match. He must be. I mean, he's made some real saves and forced misses just coming out, making his body big. You got to hand it to him. I've always been a big Kasper Schmeichel fan. Here's Lookman, who throws the ball away, doesn't get a yellow card. Referee. Trent on the ball, plays it forward to Salah, who tries to flick it forward, but the flick is blocked by the Leicester player. Liverpool reload once again. That's all Liverpool have been doing all game, is just reloading. Changing the point of the attack, not being able to find a way through. Milner plays it over to Trent. Back to Milner. Into Firmino. See, I'm really never one that questions substitutions, really in general, but particularly of Klopp. I mean, oh, and Jota in the middle of the box. He's trying to find a way through. Tries to cross it. Crosses it again. Can it find its way to Trent? Oh my goodness, there was a whole lot of bouncing around in the box, and it just can't find a clear chance on goal for Liverpool. But anyway, I was working my way up towards questioning perhaps some of the substitutions here today. I will call them into question because I think, while yes, Firmino for Hendo is an attacking move, playing Hendo in the 10, is that really something that's going to unlock this Leicester defense when they're parking the bus? I mean, if we get lucky, maybe, yes, he can play, maybe a flick is something that's going to unlock this game, an unseen, unpredictable sort of flick or turn or something like that, sure. But the way it's played out, he really has not been able to get on the ball whatsoever, because that's the exact sort of position that Leicester are trying to clog up. And here's Sadio Mane, who gets a turn and tries to have an effort on goal. The effort is blocked, and it is out for another Liverpool corner. How many corners is this? It must be 11 corners, possibly more. Here comes Alisson up. Here we go. We've seen this before. Could it be 2 goals in 2021 for Alisson Becker? Let's see. Let's hope so. Goal from anyone would do. It's not going to be for Alisson. Oh, it looked like it was Matip who was getting there, and he is having a word with Bobby Firmino. He is saying, talk to me. They sort of collided, but Yeah, as I was saying, with the substitutions, you bring Millie on. Why would you not bring Curtis Jones on? He's definitely more attack-minded and very direct. You can also shoot from outside the box. That always helps. You have a whole lot of bodies in the way. Take a shot. Maybe a deflection is something that goes your way. That it did so in the Brentford game. So anyway, it's just going to be a tough pill to swallow, these dropped points. Most likely it'll be 3 drop points. If we're lucky, it'll be 2. Can't really have 1 dropped point. Keita plays it out. Just play the ball forward. My goodness, there it is. Brendan Rodgers gets it over on Klopp. We're not really going to do a post-game here for obvious reasons, but I do hope that you enjoy your evenings. And Liverpool, get them next time. Before I sign off, don't forget Sunday, 11:30 Eastern Time. It's going to be a beautiful match between Chelsea and Liverpool. Liverpool will want to be getting revenge for this match, as well as the draw on Chelsea earlier in the season. It's going to be a fun one. Gear up for that. Mark your calendars, and we'll see you then.